Let's see. Well, if I am, it's awful just sitting there waiting for me to talk. Oh, we're live. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to AmandaMuse. Hi, friends. Tonight, it's Monday night, I thought we could start talking about back to school. It's like right around the corner. And actually, I'm on Instagram the other night, and I don't know what part of the world I was seeing these posts from, but school is already in play. Like, people are going back to school right now. So it's happening. Oh, gosh. Hi. All right, let's see who's here tonight. If you hear a little stuff in the background, my husband is doing some stuff in the kitchen. It's late. Hi, Nikki. Okay, so let's open this up. I'm just going to get the comments rolling here so I can see who's here. Oh, okay. Oh, awesome. There's lots of people here. Hi, Molly and Shira and Michelle and Jessica, Nikki, Mallory, Joanna. Awesome. Ooh, watching from Australia. Yes, you know what? I do get a lot of comments from my friends in Australia who say that it's really hard to catch me live because of the time change. So this is the perk of when I go late in the day. Hi, Glam It Yourself. This is Jenny. Oh, I'm so glad you're watching. This is awesome. 9:45 a.m. in Malaysia, so it's perfect timing. Today was a holiday, so I'm in Canada, and we had a long weekend. And so I took the day today, and I worked out. I did some yoga in the morning, hung out with the kids. We went to go see a movie. It was a really good day. But you know, I really want to start talking about some back to school stuff. So just to bring you up to speed in case you're new, my daughter Esme is going into grade 1 this year, which is crazy. And we skipped JK. We went to SK. So in Ontario here, we have junior kindergarten, senior kindergarten, and then we start official school, which is like grade 1 and onwards. Oh, Molly's saying she's a teacher and she's dreading going back to school. I mean, you guys have a good life. Summer's off, not too shabby, you know? But I'm seeing comments like Casey's saying she's feeling stressed about back to school and she's not even going back. Let's see here. Meg was saying, I need this topic. I just bought my son's lunchbox and he's starting JK. Okay, so I have a couple of hacks. So I was sort of reflecting on last year and how it felt to put Esme in school, and then actually reflecting from the year before, because I did start Esme in JK, but Esme is a December baby. And the way it works with our school system is that of the year of your birth is when you start kindergarten. So if you think about it, Esme turned 3 in December and then started JK in September. So she was like just over 3.5. We were not ready. That was way too soon. Like, I can't even imagine putting Jack in school right now. Like, it was too early for her. So we skipped out on JK. There were a lot of emotions about that. And what I'll do after this video is I will link it in the description, and then also over here, I think it is. Is that the right side? Or maybe it's over here. The little eye. I'll link it there so you can just kind of see some of the emotions, because I totally understand what you're going through if you're feeling really stressed about back to school. Let's see here. Sarah was saying her son did the same thing, skipped JK. Yeah, grade 1. Poncesella. How is this even happening? So one thing I will say, because I know sometimes there is confusion because the way schools run around the earth is very different from country to country, and even within my country, province to province is a little bit different. But it's basically JK and SK are, I don't want to say optional, but kind of. So for myself, being in a situation where I do have that freedom with my work to work from home, that I could accommodate Esme staying home, we made that decision. However, it's amazing because if you think about it, JK and SK is basically free. And so it's really like this is it word interactive? Yeah, it's like they get to play, and it's play-based learning, and there's all these different stations, and they have a lot of fun. So Esme's experience last year was still really hard because she'd never really done preschool, and she hadn't done JK. She did JK for like 3 days, and it was a really tough adjustment for our whole family. However, this year, no big deal. We're doing back to school shopping. We're like pretty much almost done. In fact, I have this haul coming out. I think it's coming out on Friday. Stay tuned for that. It's pretty epic. But we are back to school shopping. It's like no big deal. She's pumped. She's picking backpacks and school and shoes, and it's like where last year it was like completely foreign, the concept. It was just a very difficult thing. So let me check some of the comments here. Yay, people have made it. Melissa was saying, or have socialization. I have a 10-month-old October baby. When should baby start school? Oh, you know what? The fun thing is it's up to you. That's kind of the cool thing about parenting, is at the end of the day, we get to make all those decisions, good, bad, in between, and really how your lifestyle accommodates it. So if you are staying at home or if you're working outside of the home, like it's all variable, right? So many different options. But just as an example, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about Jack and what his plans are, but he's actually going to be starting preschool, which is very different. But I also think birth order has a play in that, because here he has an older sister who is really excited about school, who leaves and does this adventure and comes home, and he definitely feels a little bit left out. So yeah, and I also want to prep him, because his birth timing, if you want to think about it, going back to being eligible for JK, he was born in March. So he's at the start of his year of kids. So he's going to be ready for JK. But I think I'll still do a transitional start. Anyways, let us start talking about this. And I do see lots of questions, so I'm definitely going to come back to those. But the first hack I wanted to mention in terms of just getting prepared as a parent, your emotional state and your child's emotional state for back to school, is to start talking about it. So just start having the discussion now. So we start school, I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure of the start date. This is the story of my life. We have camp tomorrow. I don't even know where it is. So this is normal operating for me. But we definitely start talking about it. We start talking about how, we're gonna have to start going to bed at a normal time because we have to get up early for school, and mom's gonna have to be doing the driving to school because this year we don't have a bus. And so just like having the conversation, one of the things I've been talking about is the fact that Esme is gonna have a brand new teacher. So, a lot of the students, that when they go to junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten, often will have the same teacher. So in a way, Esme doesn't have that issue because she only went to the school for 1 year. But it's like, when you go back, you're not going to have that same teacher. And I wonder who you're going to get. And I wonder if any of your friends are going to be in your class. And so I'm really trying to keep that positive spin on those discussions, rather than like, oh my God, you're going back to school. And oh my God, like I'm going to have to get up early. Like when I complain, I try to really keep that to a minimum in front of the kids, because I know that it has a very big impact on how she's going to feel about everything. So it's also good just for yourself to start talking about it and getting yourself ready, realizing, oh yeah, like if I want to start, I'm jumping ahead here, but if I want to start, ordering a few things like a special lunchbox or whatever you need for school, you might want to do it now so you actually have it in time before school starts. So a tip would be to just make it fun. Your child best, and what maybe some of their triggers are, if they have any, and trying to kind of be conscious of that, and then encourage them that change is coming and it's going to be something different, but they're going to love it. If you see Dean in the background, he said no. And just getting used to the idea for yourself and for your child will make a world of difference, because if you want to later go back and watch this video, I was a wreck. Like, first of all, I cry at commercials. That's just who I am. But I was very upset to leave her. It was not the right time for us. And in the end, we made a decision to pull her out of school and do other activities and keep her very social and all of those things. By the time she started JK, we were like pumped. We're going to do this. You got to go on the bus. That was really hard. But again, it was like just number 2, but that it might take a little bit of time for you guys to get adjusted to the new routine, because it really took some time for me. It was hard. We're pretty carefree. We sleep late. We love to do a lot of activities, and it was really weird to start doing activities with just one child. That was an adjustment. So there's those. I want to see some of the comments because I'm seeing them flying at me here. Yes, Nikki was saying making going to school exciting, not a big scary thing, is really key, I think. Absolutely. And I think it's, my foot's falling asleep, and I think it's completely normal for you and your spouse or your partner to have reservations about starting school, but to keep those conversations amongst you two and try to distance that from your kid, because they pick up more than you think. And let me tell you, sometimes Esme will look at me and ask me a question and I'm like, how did you even, like, what are we talking about? But they literally hear everything, and it's amazing. The second thing, I'm seeing some great questions or comments about lunch, because lunches can be overwhelming. A lot of kids today, sometimes you don't know what else they eat aside from peanut butter sandwiches, and you cannot send your kid to school with peanuts and things like that. So let's just talk about that, okay? Like the food situation. Logistics. A fun tip would be to also make lunch fun. When you see my video on Friday, you're gonna see what I'm talking about, but I like to have a special lunchbox. That just works for me. Also, it's very convenient for me to have compartments for me to put stuff in, and it keeps me organized. And you know, making video, like I made a video, Alexandria was saying, you should do another lunch video this year. I love the last one, and I definitely am going to. I put together 2 videos last school season talking about what I made for my kids' lunch and kind of trying to give you guys some ideas. And you don't need to be the most creative Pinterest person to feed them lunch. My method, my theory is like a little bit of healthy and a lot of things I know that they're actually gonna eat, because it's safe to say that if you don't have food in your belly, you're gonna be grumpy, you're probably not gonna be listening very well, and your mood's gonna be off. So I'm just like, eat food. So I put a lot of stuff that I know she'll eat. I put a lot more things, like I put more food than I think she can actually get through. Sometimes she surprises me and eats a ton. But a tip could be, so you get your fun lunchbox, they're super excited about it, and have them start practicing before they start school, because I remember being really worried that Esme wouldn't even be able to open the lunchbox. And I was like, oh my God, how is she even gonna get in there? So you could actually start making some lunch in their lunchbox and give it to them, and like, let's play school today, and here's your lunchbox, and let's do, you know what I mean? So like really having fun with it, but then also you can have an idea of how they're going to be using their lunchbox, and like, can they open their drink container on their own, because ours has a little button. All of those things I think are really great tips. Let's see. And oh yeah, and then of course watching videos. It doesn't have to be just mine. There are tons of amazing lunch inspiration videos out there. I mean, if you have a certain lunchbox that you like, because there's a lot of different ones, and you're gonna find some parents love like the certain kind, and they're gonna make videos with them because that's what they have. But it can be really good to see what kinds of ideas other people are doing, what kind of food are they putting in there, even to like how they put food in there. So I have this compartment lunchbox, and one of the compartments I'm always like splitting into 2, and I really need to get some of those silicone holders that go in the lunchbox. I digress. We're going to talk about like specific things that I like to use for back to school in another video. Today's more like emotions and things around it. So that would be like the second one. There was also a great comment that I saw here on Instagram, because I was on Instagram earlier and kind of asked you guys like, what was some of your worries for back to school? And where was it? Oh, here it was. C Money is funny. She said, my kids' multiple severe food allergies are my always, only, and constant worry. And I have to say, that made my heart just like, oh, because I don't have, know of, neither of my kids have allergies like that, but I know that so many kids do. And what I wanted to say as a parent who like my kids don't have allergies, being on the other side of that spectrum, is that I am so conscious of what I'm putting in my kids' lunch. Like even tonight, so Esme's going to camp tomorrow, I made her lunch. I had just made Jack a peanut butter sandwich, and Esme wanted, she only eats jelly sandwiches. I actually took that knife, put it in the sink, and got a fresh knife to make her a jelly sandwich, because I thought, well, like if she's having lunch and the kid next to her has a peanut allergy and there's even like a hint of peanut, that could be terrifying. And so just know that I think that there is so much information out there for parents that the school gives you, that they prepare you for, even in the grocery store, like in the kids sections, everything is peanut free and they're like labeled peanut free. So I think that their parents are a lot more aware of it. Maybe not everybody, but we're aware of it. And I'm sure your kid probably is fully aware of their allergy. And I think it's great to talk about it and have them talk about it with their friends so that all their friends know. And you know what I mean? So that just kids, again, like kids will, if your child tells their set of friends at school they have an allergy, I guarantee those kids are going to come home and tell mom and dad, like, hey, so-and-so has this allergy. Don't put anything like that in my lunch. Like they look out for buddies. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. But number three, my little hack, depending on the personality of your child. So for example, my daughter is extremely extroverted. Meg was saying, by the way, that is so thoughtful, Amanda. My son has a peanut allergy, so this is very heartwarming to hear. Yeah, and I think we're very aware of it. But anyway, I said what I said about that. But so there's always a delay about what I talk about and then when the comments come up. Okay, so talking about the personalities of our children. My daughter is extremely extroverted. Wonder where she gets that from. But super extroverted. So I was never worried about her having socialization problems. However, one thing that came up is that we actually skipped a bunch of school because my husband has a very flexible job and so do I. And so sometimes we did and in the end, she missed a ton of school, and the school and the teacher, nobody minded. It wasn't an issue. However, I do feel like it jeopardized some friendships that Esme had because she wasn't in school enough to solidify all of those friendships. So I digress. We'll talk about that more later. But my son is, I would say at this stage in the game, pretty introverted, maybe shy. It's hard to tell. He's only 3 in a bit. So start getting social now if you can. One of the reasons that I'm putting Jack in preschool, well, there's 2 reasons. One, I think that's going to be amazing for him just to start getting used to that routine of getting up in the morning, having a backpack, having lunch with friends, and he really seemed to enjoy his time at the end of this last school year because he did it for about 2 months. And he had a great time. The other part is I work from home and I kind of need to be a little bit more productive. but the main part is really introducing Jack to that whole experience. And so if you find that maybe your kid is a little bit more on the shy side or they haven't had preschool or daycare or anything like that, maybe you start to do some things, even if it's out of your comfort zone right now. Drop in day camps, because there's a bunch of day camps I know in my city that have drop-in situations, and kind of let them go. And just a lot of the drop-ins, like the parents can wait and watch, but they're not necessarily participating. And that might be a really experience just to start that process so that your child can experience what it's like to do things without you there, right? And then what you can experience what that's like, because really, it's hard for everybody, this whole thing. And it was so hard on me, and I really feel for other parents who are like about to go through it. So anyhow, getting social now I think will help ease the transition. Trinity was asking an interesting question. What are your kids' astrological signs? I'm pretty sure Esme is Sagittarius and Jack is a Pisces, I think. And I'm pretty into that stuff in a fun way. But yeah, they're too little for me to tell right now what their personalities are going to be like. But one is very big and the other one, he takes a little time to warm up. I'm so glad you guys, there's a bunch of people saying they're making it live. Fabulous. Okay, so the next one, tip number 4, is more on your side of things, especially if you're a stay-at-home parent. So this is where I can certainly relate because I work from home. Is like start to make plans for yourself and maybe your other children that you have at home in a way that you start to look forward to things, because it's weird. Like I remember when we sent Esme to school that first day, Jack would have been like what, a year? Yeah, something like that, just over a year. I remember like a year and a half or something, because they're 2 years apart. She was like 3.5, he was a year and a half. So we're sitting on the sofa and it's so quiet in the house. We've got like the cartoons on and nobody's talking because Jack was just little. And I was like, this is so weird. Like it was so weird. And I think it's okay to be excited about your kid being in school for like a bunch of hours, and the things that you can get done with less kids at home, knowing like something that I didn't expect was this. I had so much guilt that was off my shoulders when I realized how entertained in the right way Esme was. How am I phrasing this? Like, she was getting challenged in all of the right ways at school, in ways that I couldn't provide in a way. Like, I am not equipped to homeschool. That's just not my nature. First of all, I run 2 businesses from home, and I just don't think there really is not enough time in the day for me to do that. And it is a serious commitment. So that was not in the cards for me. But all of a sudden she was like at school being challenged, being entertained, and came home tired and wasn't on tech like at all throughout the whole day. It was amazing. And then you start to just appreciate time that you have to yourself. If you can actually like sit down and put your feet up and have a coffee while they're napping, and like, you know what I mean? Or start to make more dinner, because like that's something I struggle with. It's like, oh right, I have time to make dinner before I pick you up from school, and all these little things, and start to celebrate some of those wins. Maybe make plans to have a little with your friends, because I always find with the second and third and subsequent children, the focus is less on them. There's always like, I feel like we really cater to the older kids because they're older. And so I notice like, you know, I start to make plans that are specific to Jack's age group when Esme is off at camp or if Esme is off at school. So I think it's okay to get excited about that stuff. Let's see here. Vanessa was saying, she was just giving me some sweet comments about being a cool mom or something. So thank you. I appreciate it. Pamela was saying her first child is kind of shy and he never cried when he started going to school. Her second one is the alpha type, and man, he hates being away from me. Let me tell you. Don't you find when they like cry and scream and then you find out that they literally cried for 2 minutes and were totally fine once you left? The stress. Yay, Taylor is in Australia and she got to catch me live. That's awesome. Let's see. We're talking more about lunch boxes and things. Megan was saying she's going to be a sobbing mess, that she's an emotional person about her kids in particular, so I'm hoping I adjust quickly. Yeah, and I think like starting to think about you know, how you're going to spend some time, like maybe this is an opportunity, you know, that you could go and take a yoga class, or I don't know, take your little one to the library, do an adventure, and like take them to the movies or something in the afternoon. Like it all of a sudden frees up time. And I really operate well in a structured environment is what I've become to like learn about myself. And so when we start getting into like routines of making lunch, I make my lunches at night for my daughter, and then school in the morning, and then I get the groceries done before 10. And it's like, I really follow this structure. I find the whole family does really well. So that's kind of like a surprise perk of the school situation. And so I think that there's a lot of positives, and it's really like, this is the time, especially if you feel like you're going to be struggling emotionally, to start focusing on those positives. You know, I have 2 more, but one of them is just like one more, but stay open-minded. You know, change is hard and so many people struggle with it across all ages. And so if you feel like you're struggling with the change, you can only imagine what's to come for your child. But the school has a way, like they're so nurturing and catering to little ones. At least this is what I found in my experiences with our school specifically. But they really take care of them, and they make it fun, and they do cute things like, you know, I signed up to make Play-Doh or something once or twice, and I had Esme like pick out the scent of the oil we were going to put in it. And maybe we put glitter that time. And I think there's ways that you can really like get involved and have some fun. So yeah, just stay open-minded. Change is good. It's going to be good for everybody, and you might be pleasantly surprised. And I remember when I think about my mental state when school started versus the last day of school, I got a little panicky on the last day of school because I really appreciated the structure of the way things were flowing. And I was genuinely worried that Esme was going to be super like moody and feeling like I wasn't doing enough to, you know, keep her challenged and having fun this summer. And so this is where summer camp comes in. And I tell you, it's amazing the things that you end up appreciating. And like when your kids are happy and tired and feel like they've, I don't know, offered the world something that day, everybody's happy. Let's see here. A Living Life to Plan was saying that her youngest starts school on Thursday. What? This Thursday? That's crazy. I'm curious, where are you living that it's school starting so quick? But then it must end earlier. So there's probably that. She says, I only have two, but they're 4 years apart in age, and I've been a stay-at-home mom with them for 9 years now. What am I going to do with myself? Oh, girl. Take naps. Like, that's what I secretly, like when Jack starts school, I'm like, I plan to be super productive, but I also think I need to like schedule in a nap like once a week, because boy, do I miss those. Let's see here. Hi, Nesting Story. Hi, Joanna. She was saying summer camp is the best. Oh my God, yeah, that's like a whole other, thing we can talk about. But I didn't over plan the summer. Like I scheduled her for 3 weeks of summer camp and ended up doing 4, really 3.5, because she hurt her foot. But it's been such a good summer. Like, I don't know, I just feel like there's been good downtime. We're excited about the change. We're excited about school. My kids are already talking about Halloween, so there's that. Living Life to Plan says, I say this half, but I'm having an identity crisis, it feels like. But seriously though, I totally get that. Like, when when you've got 2 kids or 1 kid or whatever, you have your routine, you have your structure, and it's going along and everyone's surviving, and all of a sudden there's this huge change. What may not be huge to some, especially those with older kids that are kind of like, oh yeah, I remember that, but not really. You're in it. It's happening to you. You're going to experience emotions, and I think it's natural to feel certain ways, and just to be prepared for it really is kind of what I'm like hoping to share today. Chantel's Corner says, my little one is starting preschool in January. I'm so nervous and want to cry thinking of him being away from me. He is a late talker, so I'm nervous how he'll do. I'm curious, Chantel, is he your only one? Because I find like when Jack started school, he's a little bit shy, he's a little bit quiet. It's been like, obviously I think that there's just like developmental things that happen when you start hitting certain ages and things, but he's just really enjoyed it. And I found a really good teacher, and Jack the other day asked if she could come over and hang out, and I was like, oh, I think she's enjoying her summer vacation, so maybe not. But like, I think when you give kids the opportunity to like try new things, you're surprised at how resilient they are, is what I'm trying to get at. Pamela's saying, I honestly can't wait until my 3rd, who's 10 months old, starts going to school. It's only 10 months. Oh, the things we look forward to. This cracks me up, Pamela, because it's your 3rd, and I feel you, because I'm like, I have friends of mine, and we're often like, oh my God, 2018, and our little ones are in school. Like, do you know what kind of things I'm gonna be able to get done in 8 hours or 6 hours in a day? Like, it's amazing. She says, I'm so craving going back to work, but at the same time, I'm clinging to the years. And that is so true. Isn't that like motherhood for those that really like, I think for everybody, it's like, what is that thing? The days are long, but the years are short. So there's that one. But also it just, like, you love it, and there's so much you don't love about it, like all in the same vein. And so there's so many emotions at all times, at all various like transitional periods. Rachel was saying, so since her girl is starting pre-K, which is not a real grade, so it's 3 hours, I told my husband if she cries, I'm staying until she is okay. I'm not sure how this is going to go. Yeah, I feel you. And they usually do, like for JK and pre and SK, they usually do like, I guess for many grades, where you go in and you meet the teacher before school starts, and you have an opportunity what the classroom's going to look like. And I really expressed all sorts of things I had going on that I was worried about, and they were very open to it and very receptive, and just really calmed my nerves. And there's like a little booklet, and I think a lot of schools will have different methods, but there was a booklet where every day, like if Esme was having a hard day, I could just say, just kind of be warned, we're maybe didn't sleep enough last night or whatever. And the school would also send notes back and tell you how things were going. And I think that like, just if you have the lines of communication open, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised, I would hope, in most situations. And also when you sort of, especially as the mom, I find this is the tricky part. And I give you an example of what I'm trying to convey, but Jack has hated getting his hair cut since the first haircut, and this kid's had a head of hair since the day he was born. So his Baba has cut his hair, my mother-in-law, and then Dean tried to cut his hair recently, and it was like a nightmare, and Jack wouldn't stop screaming. He was clinging to me. It was horrible. And then finally his hair was getting out of control. I said, you know what, Dean, you take him barber with you, and then tell the barber to speak directly to him, treat him like an individual. Don't like ask daddy to cut the hair, just like talk to him. And you know what? It worked. He didn't love it. He had like, I think some struggling internal emotions, but pleasantly surprised when he like, this is your job now and this is what you have to do. You might be surprised about how your kid reacts. That said, it might take a month. So I get that. And it's no joke. It was hard. Like our biggest struggle going back to the starting school was that my kids sleep late. And as a result, they would go to bed a little later than most kids would be. And that was the hardest thing, was to get Esme on a routine where she was going to bed at a good time in order to be rested to get up the next day. We have since curbed that, but it took a long time, truly. And then also to train myself to get up was really hard. Chantal was saying, yeah, it's her only child. He'll be able to get speech therapy there, so that will be a huge bonus. Amazing. We live in a rural area and not many private speech therapists. Amazing. That's incredible. One of the things, just speaking about certain bonuses of going to school, like as you guys know, I speak French. I'm from Quebec. I'm a little rusty because I don't speak it very much anymore, but if I have to, or if I have a glass of wine, I'm awesome. But Esme is going to be able to take French immersion this year, and I'm pretty excited for her. And that's something that I'm on the fence actually about French immersion, and subject for another day, but I think the fact is she's going to get it at school, and that's awesome, and I'm really excited for her because that's something I couldn't do for her at home, even though I speak French. Teaching 2 languages is really hard, and so anyway, it's just like a bonus for her being at school. Chunky Monkey was saying her 2 littles go part-time daycare 3 mornings a week, and I'm hoping that this is going to help both me and them with school. It will. There's no way that it couldn't, right? Because it's like they're getting into that routine, you're getting into that routine, and also it's nice to have a little bit of a break, and it's okay to want that, and don't feel guilty about that. We're human beings. Motherhood can be full on, or is full on, especially in those early days. And so to sort of be excited about a little break, I think is totally okay. Like, you're okay to feel that way. Yeah, Janine was saying, oh yes, we'll start trying to get on an earlier bedtime routine so we all wake up in time for school. Totally. Yeah, that's something that I'm basically in my mind, like we're going on holidays next week, and when we come back, we have to start getting into that routine of shutting it down early, getting ready for school. Since we've been doing camp, it's kind of forced us into that, so that's been a bonus. But those are my, back to school hacks in terms of, as a parent, what are some things you might want to think about right now, how to cope, dealing with some emotions, and maybe just a little bit of prep work that will make it a smoother transition. And I'm curious to know, if you've been there, done that, what are some things that worked for you? Because I know if anyone's watching the see in the comments other tips and other hacks. So feel free to leave those comments, especially once I've posted it. Right now, all the comments are going to disappear, unfortunately. But once it's published as a regular video, then I would love for you to leave some comments down there. Let's see here. Tiffany was saying this is such an awesome option. The US is so unfortunate with our language options that the rest of people get. To speak a second language is very fortunate. Absolutely. And it triggers parts of the brain, right? That children are like little sponges and they can pick up languages so easy, much easier than you can. So I think it's worth it. And in all fairness, like I didn't grow up at home that spoke French. Like I learned my French through the school system in Quebec, but then also worked in a French environment. So there's that helps play into it. But hey, you know what? Who knows? She might love it, right? Pamela was saying she's originally from Peru, but it's hard to talk to my kids in Spanish. My oldest says he doesn't know Spanish, but give him a command in Spanish and he will do it. So cute. Exactly. Like sometimes you don't realize your skill set until you're forced to hear it properly or speak it in a situation. So I totally get that. But yeah, that's my food for thought for today for back to school. And I would love to know what kind of things you would like to see for back to school videos, because I do have a few in mind. I'm thinking of doing, well, for sure I'm going to do a back to school haul. I have an idea about some lunchbox ideas. Anything else you want to see? Definitely let me know. I thank you so much for watching, and if you're new, please consider subscribing. I put out videos 3 times a week. Mondays are live, Wednesdays and Fridays. And that's it, guys. I think I got to a lot of the comments, and I love these live videos, and I love that you guys were very interactive. You guys will leave me lots of questions, and it's awesome. All right, that's it. I'm gonna go have a snack now. Got a little hungry. Have a good night, guys. Bye.